Um, Hearts. So I think this is what a really simple tool that not just saved for Valentine's Day, but I'll start with how I use these for Valentine's Day. Just to cut out little hearts with little target language sayings. I actually have them that somebody else made, the target language sayings, and then I keep them up during Valentine's Day season, and then I let them take them down and they write each other notes. So it's fun activity for them to, practice some writing, but you don't really need, something that's really high prep at all. There's some different ways that you can use these simple hearts. I might even just, make a little outline and photocopy it, or have the kids just make a heart out of fold it in half and have a piece of paper. And then a really simple activity is just things I love. So in your target language, maybe you have on the board, things I love, whatever that is in your target language. And everybody has to write something. And then they stick them all over the board. And it's a really great exercise in gratitude, as well as it's just fun. And it's fun to see them every day. They read each other's hearts. Another activity here that I really like to do is with this is for a little bit something that's a little bit more advanced. So, of course, students learning Spanish, the subjunctive can be a real challenge for them. And so I might have them take the name of another student, and there's you'll know your people. So how you organize this, of course, will depend on how many people you've got, the relationships within that group, et cetera, the dynamics. I might have them pick themselves. I might have them or pick the other people themselves. I might have them take them from a bag, something like that. And they have to write things, a letter to them. I'm so glad that, I'm so glad that you're my friend. I'm happy that you're my friend. I'm grateful that, whatever those little chunks and phrases are, you're going to teach them. And then, you can review your subjunctive verbs. Something that's a little bit less complicated that can be done at many levels is just compliments. So everybody has to pick, everybody writes their name on a heart. You put them all in a bag, everybody selects somebody else's name, and they have to give that person a compliment in the target language. It's really, really, really fun. So this next activity, I've talked about Post-its a lot. And as I said, I'm a bit obsessed with Post-its, but this is, I think, something that's really, really great to have on hand. And because you can adapt them to anything. So we talked about the body parts and the Post-it notes and how they had that interactive activity where they kept, labeling their body parts. But you can do this with any kind of vocabulary. You can have them label the room, for example, anything that has nouns and that you want the students to remember. So you can also review anything. So if students have, at the end of a chapter, if they've got questions, they can just write their question down and they can put them up on the board and you can go over all of them. Another thing is a really fun low prep game is to have everybody write questions, and everybody has to contribute, 3 or 4 questions, and you organize them up on a board, and you divide everybody up into teams, and you're just interactive. You're taking on the questions, asking them. Somebody at the group has to answer. You get a point. Another way that I really like to use these is to build stories with these. And this is really fun if you're teaching the intermediate level or the advanced level. So you can hand out different colors depending on what parts of a story you want. So the beginning could be blue and the middle could be white. It really doesn't matter. You would decide that. And you would give a group the different colors. Each group gets the different colors. And everybody writes the beginning of a story, maybe 4 details, maybe the end. And then you take them all and you, again, put them based on their colors up on the board, and you mix and match these stories. It's really quite fun. Another way to do this is for deep reading comprehension. So students would be reading something. This is really for intermediate level, something that they might not understand, something that would be difficult without them diving really deep into it, into the vocabulary. And you would kind of give them a list of vocabulary of words that you didn't know, that they wouldn't know, that words that they would struggle with. And they have to read the selection. They have to draw out what happened, and it doesn't have to be on a storyboard. It can be just one sort of picture that represents what happened. And they can take these Post-its and label those words, or they can, and as they're, as it serves as a great speaking and visual prompt, or they can take those same words and, illustrate them. So it's interactive, or they can take them and go on other parts of the story if you want to divide the story up. So there's lots of ways that you can use this. So this activity is called My Fridge. And I think that it's really fun if you have if you've got kids that are kind of obsessed with their phones, this is a fun activity. They can just really record and tell you about what's in their fridge, and then everybody shares. But I think some fun other alternatives to doing this is just, kids that are sort of arty can take a picture and or draw a picture rather, or they can take a Google slide. But the whole idea is that it's a stimulus, and if it gets them talking, then that's great. You can also do this with any set of vocabulary that you're doing. when I do this activity, I tend to show them a refrigerator in the target language, or I just do mine, and I just take my phone and I give them a little tour of my fridge, and then that's how that starts. And then they do something similar. And again, they can just make it up if they don't want to actually show you what's in their fridge. They can go on a Google slide and just Google and put an image of, something that's in their target language refrigerator, and then talk about it. The whole point is the speaking. But you can do your closet, you can do your house. It's just fun, and it's great to have a little gallery. I like to do these in Flipgrid. Everybody can share, and everybody can see, and everybody comments on what's in other people's fridges. This is a great resource. It's called Lyrics Training. I have a lot to say about music and songs and learning languages, but at the end of the day, it's a great way to, they're not great for communication necessarily, but I think that music is really valuable for, culture, and you can teach a lot of interesting grammar points. So basically, they are, see this website, I think they take YouTube videos. It's called Lyrics Training. You do need to sign up for it, but it's a great way to get some interactive activity in there with music, and there's tons of languages. I also highly recommend investing in anything with sort of buzzers, anything that's interactive and that you can press. So this, again, just a little electronic device. You can divide them up into teams. You get to use lots of target language here with these different colors, and it will just jazz up any textbook exercise or anything that might otherwise not be so much fun. Again, dice, same type of activity. Maybe you do conjugating verbs with dice, and they have great, now I believe it's called dice.com. You can do that online. You can do lots of number practice, shake the dice and, say whatever the target language number is. This is really great for beginners. For more advanced, say a certain number of things based on what you rolled.